Oh yeah. We're live for 304 Studios in Jonesboro, Arkansas. This is an stspod.club production. I'm BT, and this guy right here, Lance, I've got to tell him. When he posts in a wrestling group, he has a few rules. Number one, don't respond unless you agree with him. Because Lance, well, he's always right. And number two, never try to educate him about anything. Well, hell, he knows everything. Why are you trying to educate this guy? Number three, never try to be funny. Because he's the only person in that group that's funny. Well, I'm funny every once in a while. And finally, never, ever answer one of his questions with one word and a question mark. Never do that. Never. One word and a question mark. He is from Chicago, the home of the best damn pizza in the world. He's the snark of excellence, my partner in crime. He's my friend, well, your friend and mine, Lance Levine. How the hell are you, Lance?
Something like that. Well, I'm here in the Mountain Dew Summer Freeze Studios, and I heard you have a breaking news, a scientific study.
I do. This is a PSA, baby. Personal
Summer Freeze.
I wanted to say a personal service announcement.
Yeah,
that's right.
Public service,
guys. If you drink that.
Yep,
I promise you. No, it's more personal than it is public. Personal. If you drink that, it will make your poop green. I promise you. But you didn't drink the zero, did you?
I drank the. I haven't found the zero. Is there a zero?
The zero, I can't drink the real stuff because I got the diabetes, and so I drank that, and it's it made my poop green every time. So there you go. Well, good. I liked it. Me and you both had the same review of it. It tastes too much like all the other ones. Tastes like Mountain Dew, so we like it. So, but I'm not going to go out of my way to buy it a bunch of other times.
Breaking news: it did not turn my poop green. So there you go.
You're right. I think it's the zero part. Zero turns your poop green.
I've had zero. All
right, let me go through.
It's never done anything weird to me, so I don't know. I think it's
me neither. It's that blue that's in there.
It's just
primary color. I don't know what's going on.
So Summer Breeze, but we have to say that it's based on the name of the song "Summer Breeze" by Seals and Crofts. I got to demonstrate my musical know-how. So Summer Breeze, that's what we're calling it.
Don't think so.
Anyway, you got some business?
All right. Real quick, tomorrow night, a Memphis show. It's a big look at West Carroll High School football fundraiser in Atwood, Tennessee. Go to Memphis Wrestling, Championship Wrestling Memphis, something like that.com, and you can get your tickets there, or look in the description of this podcast. There is a link right there, and be there tomorrow night. A big shout out. Be there. That's right. Big shout out to Josh and Richard. And I want to tell you something, Lance. Josh and Richard, I send them WTF every time, and I know they don't listen to it because, well, hell, they do the same stories we've done, and they act like they're brand new and they've never heard them. And they usually tell them wrong. So there you go. I know they're not listening to us, but they just did their 300th episode. They're not as good as us. That's 706, but still.
That's cute. 300. Good for them.
How cute of them. Remember, it's starting Saturday. That's right. Will be the first episode of all episodes, the 6th annual, all episodes Memphis. In May. We got a huge giveaway. That's right. We have a Rolling into Mempho T-shirt, if I can get that out, a video message from Dustin Starr, a Jerry Lawler Funko Pop, a big John Dalton T-shirt, a Jeff Jarrett Major Bendy's action figure and autograph, and much, much more, including a bag of coffee from Arizona Bay, coffee.com. So subscribe to Patreon. And what I'm doing, Lance, this month is if you get a friend to join, I'll give you 2 chances to win that big prize package, and I'll give your friend 2 chances. So there you go. If you join, 2 and 2. Wow. And real quick, top 3 episodes. Number 3 was WTF episode 701. Number 2 was a tie. Episodes 697 was our Mania episode. No, 697 was our April 1st episode. 699 was the Mania episode where it was tied for second place. I don't think that's ever happened where it's the same exact number.
Wow.
And number 1, even though he did work for Memphis Wrestling, he's not working now, was Sleazy E. He's got fans all over this area. And big, long interview on the Patreon version. Real fun stuff. And Lance, sounds like I'm making up these numbers. We are 881% increase over last April. Second best month of all time. We are 681% increase overall for the year. And get this, we have had more plays this year than we did the whole history of the podcast combined. So take 2017 all the way up to 2022, combine all those numbers, and we already beat all of those numbers for this year.
That's
so
amazing.
big year. We
Incredible.
got into doing Reels, TikTok, a bunch of everything. We welcome everyone that jumped on board. We really, really do. More plays than ever. And I tell you what, why don't I just shut up right now and let's get started. Tell them what we're doing, Lance.
It is the WTF News Desk for April 2023. And if you're new to joining us, this is where we cover all the wild and wacky and bizarre news stories in wrestling and MMA every month. We talked about this, just a walk down memory lane here. We talked about this when we first decided to start doing this show. We weren't going to do just a news show because there's a million of those out there. If anybody thinks they're going to be better than Meltzer at doing it, they're wrong. But so we wanted to approach it from a different angle, and that was we knew that there were so many weird stories and bizarre stories. Most of the time funny, but not always funny. Sometimes just simply weird. And so we wanted to do that, and that's what the WTF News Desk stands for. So it is the call letters of the TV show to pull behind the curtain. That was the whole concept. So WTF is our news channel, and we cover the weird stories. So that's what we're doing. So this is April of 2023. We've been doing this for, 5 years, whatever it's been. Long time, but it's our favorite show to do.
This is episode 141. Yeah.
Okay. So
of Cool Kids. 141 of Cool Kids. So yeah, I've been doing it a while.
Yeah, so in the 10 spot, we count down the top 10 stories. And then we do the honorables, too, which will be coming up. So at number 10 is always the stipulation match. Sometimes we go to Mexico, but most of the time we go to Japan. Hardly ever in the States. So this month we are going to DDT, as always, in Japan. It is the Yamada Fisheries presents the April 23rd Shibushi Fish Meat Decisive Battle card from Unagi Station. So this match was fish versus meat in a full-scale battle, and it was sponsored by a company called Yamada Suisan, which is a fish company in Japan. So the team that was representing fish was Shishamo Power, Unagi Mask, and Super Unagi Mask, beating the meat team, the team representing meat, which was Jun Akiyama, Kaz Higuchi, and Yuki Ishida. And that proved that fish dominates over meat as far as protein goes. So that was what the match, the terms of the match, the winning team was going to determine the supreme protein in Japan. So Suisan, the company that sponsored it, they want to promote, next time they want to do it again. They were happy with the results. They want to do it again and promote, this time they're going to promote mackerel, salmon, and herring in the next go-round that they're going to run with DDT. And then also, we got one other thing to mention in this month's stipulations is that our friend Yuki Sexy Ino, that is one of your favorite guys, he has a new...
My guy, yes.
He works with Dandy Dino or Don Shaco Dino or whatever his name is. So they work together a lot. So Sexy Ino's new finisher is called the Cross Ass Sexy Lock Ass. And it reminded me of a weekend at the Trammell House again, That's what's going on over there.
It sounds like something the wife and I did a couple weekends ago, but I didn't use lock ass. I used cross ass. I didn't use lock ass.
Sexy lock ass.
But yes, So I'm gonna go ahead. If you're watching the video of this, I will be sharing a picture that I was supposed to share during the matches last month. So
it is the human.
So there you go from last month.
Yeah. It's some kind of earthworm or
that's from last month,
or something.
There you go.
But yeah, that was last month. So
hey,
you're only a month
can't ever
behind.
say
it's
I'm not timely. So there you go. Yeah, there you go. All right, what's number 9? So, this is one of my favorite stories.
At number 9, we got Shelton's plane is in the hurt business. So April 22nd, our friend Shelton Benjamin of WWE tweeted, "My plane just hit someone on the runway. This is not a joke!" Exclamation points. So he tweets that like his plane is taxiing down a runway or something and hits somebody. So what's weird is there's never any follow-up to this anywhere. If you search this news story, there's nothing. So what I did was, in order to try to find out, is there any legitimacy to this whatsoever? Because him saying this is not a joke made it even more weird. So no story, anywhere, nothing broke. So I just follow his tweets, and then afterwards he tweets, the follow-up is, the tow hitch broke. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? And then another tweet after that clarified that the tow hitch broke, which just made it feel like they hit someone on the ramp or on the runway. So I gotta say, dude, switch to decaf or something, Shelton, because I don't know what the hell that was all about. No actual hurt business took place. No hurt business occurred. So fortunately, no runway, airline, no air traffic control people got injured in the making of this story. So Shelton's plane hurting business is at number 9.
All right, let me say something. I was listening to Who's right before we got to started recording, and they were talking about ways that they want to be, like, if they die, they want to die in their sleep. This is one of those ways that I don't want to be on the news being that man that got ran over by the airplane. Because, number one, Lance, you're going to have to somehow arrange to come on video and talk about me being killed. And there's no way you can be crying and somber if I get run over by a plane. So I hope I just die in my sleep. So I am saying I'm dying before you, even though I did dream you got run over by a subway or something. And John wasn't too happy about that. But yeah, Sheldon, slow down with the caffeine. Everything's okay.
Settle down, Shelton. So, all right, at number 8, we got Tag Day for Abby. So news breaks that Abdullah the Butcher 82, Larry Shreve is his real shoot name, as you call it in the business. Woo. So Abdullah the Butcher 82 is broke. So he had the $2.3 million verdict settlement that he owed Devin Nicholson from that Hep C match. And then Abdullah, in trying to avoid having to pay it, apparently, put his money in the name of his wife and her brother. And they're from like the Philippines or somewhere in Asia. And Abby claims to know nothing about the case. It's like so bizarre. We all knew about the case. He says, he lost the case, the Hep C case with Nicholson. He lost it by default because he's illiterate and didn't know there was a trial going on and didn't know that he was supposed to show up at the trial.
He didn't even show up. Yeah, he didn't even know it existed. Yeah.
How did we all know about it then? So bizarre. I don't know if any of that is true. So he claims to be illiterate. He also claims he was the first man on the moon. He shot Kennedy. All kinds of crazy shit. Sadly, Abdullah the Butcher's house of ribs and Chinese food has also closed. So that's another source of income that is shut down. So the wife that apparently has his money has absconded to wherever. And
my wife has his money?
No, not the wife. His wife. Capital H, not
all right, my bad.
So his wife and her brother abscond with the money. She files for divorce. And in the meantime, his goddaughter has set up a GoFundMe for Abdullah the Butcher. So does it say GoFundMe for Abdullah the Butcher, or does it say Larry Shreve on the paperwork there? So anyway, Tag Day for Abby at number 8.
It probably says both, really?
82.
Yeah. So I got an Abdullah story, but it's not Abdullah the Butcher. But to me, it sounds like he had people running his business, and they weren't running his business right, and didn't tell him anything, and stole all his money is what it sounds like to me. But my doctor, many years ago, 20-something years ago, so I'm going to use his real shoot name, his name was Abdullah Rashard. And I went to him, and I was sitting in his office, and I said, Abdullah, did you know that's a wrestler's name? And he's a little bitty man. He says, no. He goes, didn't know. I'm like, I can't do Indian accents, but he said, I didn't know. And I said, yeah, he's Abdullah the Butcher. And he just looked at me real weird. I said, nah, you can't call yourself Abdullah the Butcher. You've been a doctor and everything. Well, he started laughing, and we kept talking. And then I say, where are you from? You know, he's got an Indian accent. He says, Spokane, Washington. There you go. Spokane, Washington, the home of the Indians, named Abdullah. So there you go. All right. What's next? This is a breaking story. Hold on. Breaking story. Doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. Breaking story.
This is big news. So it is a story that WTF has been covering this story for years, people, years. And suddenly wrestling fans become aware that Ted DiBiase Jr. is in trouble in April of 2023. So Ted Jr., as we have reported numerous times, multiple times in the last 2 years, he is indicted for embezzling money from the welfare agencies in Mississippi. He was involved in this whole big mess that Brett Favre is a part of, too, taking money under false pretenses, keeping it. $3 million.
Wait, allegedly, Brett Favre. Allegedly, or will be sued. He's suing Pat McAfee.
But he paid back
don't
the
say
money.
Allegedly, Brett
Favre paid back the money to Mississippi. So there was some shenanigans because he paid the money back. So he wouldn't have just said, oh, hey, Mississippi, here's some money for you, unless he had done something wrong. So I say he did. So anyway, DiBiase Jr. owes $3 million, over $3 million. He could get up to 20 years in prison for this. Ted Sr. is also part of this because they claim that he owes them $2 million. So it ain't just DiBiase Jr., it's both of them. And even his other son, Brett, owes $824,000. But the bizarre part about this whole thing is that all of a sudden in April of this month, or April of this year, wrestling fans suddenly become aware of this story. We've been talking about this for 2 years. Where the hell have you been, people? Ted DiBiase in trouble at number 7.
I wonder that, too. The funny thing was the reason why it was a different part of the story. He was finally indicted for the crime, so we know how the process works. But everyone was reporting it like it was brand new. You got text messages. I got text messages from people that said, "Did you see that about?" and somebody texted me and said, "Did you see that about Ted DiBiase?" And I was like, "It wasn't Ted DiBiase. It wasn't $1 million man. It was, but he ain't been indicted yet." Really? Right. Is that with Brett Favre? And I'm like, I wanted to say listen to our fucking show, but I didn't. But yeah, they were indicted. Like you said, with Brett Favre and with all this, there's something going on. There's way too much money missing and something going on. All right, number 6. I said that other one was my favorite story, but this may be my
number
favorite
6.
story.
We got WWE and the Racist Chair. So it sounds like a new Harry Potter spinoff. So former WWE writer Brittany Abrahams files suit on April 24th against Vince and Stephanie McMahon for termination after she objected to offensively racist and stereotypical jargon in WWE scripts. So Abraham says that she had complained that they were giving Bianca Belair offensive lines and that nothing was done about it. So she complained that the offensive lines, the racist lines, the stereotypical lines were given to Bianca. She complained, and yet there was no follow-up. So then, on top of that, she wanted, this Brittany Abrahams, this writer, wanted a chair from WrestleMania 38 and was told she could get one after the show. But she said she saw white male and black males get chairs from the writing crew. They got chairs. And so she wanted to know why was she not getting a chair. So the next day she went and got a chair. And then she brought it into the writer's room to show off that she had a chair. She is then emailed to return the chair. She is told to return the chair. And then she is fired on April 7th of 2022. So her lawsuit over a fucking chair. So her lawsuit claims that she suffered extreme emotional distress, severe depression, extreme anxiety, humiliation, and loss of self-esteem over a fucking chair. So anyway, give her the chair, goddammit. What's the big deal? You'll save yourself millions of dollars in this lawsuit. So WWE and the racist chair at number 6.
Well, white people could get the chair, but she couldn't get the chair. I don't know.
I got the chair. I think she was charging sexism there as well, because she said a black and a white male got chairs.
Sexism, man. I'm not saying that WWE didn't feed them lines and everything. I want to make sure I get this clear before I make a statement here. But WWE, this is going to surprise a lot of people. It's a television show.
What?
So occasionally we go into the fantasy world. Yes, right. And they write. So that would be kind of like some character, somebody called one of the characters an N-word on SVU, Special Victims Unit, and they sued them because the script called them an N-word. You can't do that, guys. Come on, give us a break. And speaking of a break, I said,
what a segue that was.
Oh, man, I'm awesome tonight. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back with 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And if you're watching the video, there's no break.
No break.
All right, we're back. And first of all, real quick, I'm BT, and this guy over here.
Again?
I want to give you hell about something else.
Another introduction?
This guy over here, he makes fun of people. He makes fun of people that celebrate fake holidays. But I have to tell him, happy May 4th day to him. And he said something today on Twitter about a Who Day.
The Who Day, yeah. What? Happy May the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
And I want to tell you, is that guy
happy?
No, it's a May 4th day. Who Day? Is that for Doctor Who?
It's The Who, the greatest rock band of all time. So if you are a Who fan...
No, wait. Tomorrow is greatest rock band of all time. I'm muting you. Tomorrow is Peanut Butter... it's Peanut Butter Finger Up Your Butt Day, and it is just like a normal weekend at the Tremel. So make sure you are celebrating that with happy May 4th Day.
God. May 4th Day.
I had somebody say it that way, so I had to say it. A shout out to who really screwed that up to me. The movie, we talked about something on text today, and I want to say something about Star Wars. I know this is not a Star Wars, but I said I was there when it opened. I went back and looked. Apparently, it was probably the next month. It actually opened to only like 30-some theaters and then opened to 100 theaters in June. So I was probably there when it opened to it because all of a sudden this was a movie that wasn't supposed to be making any money, and it started making lots of money. It has 32 locations, and then it expanded to 43, and then over the Memorial Day weekend, they actually expanded it to 100 locations. So that's probably when I seen it. But I seen it. Here's the funny thing. We weren't supposed to see Star Wars. We were supposed to see something else. Me and my mama went, and we stood in line all the way around the theater, and my mom hated it. Absolutely. Said it was the stupidest movie she had ever seen. And me being the big nerd I was, I was the biggest nerd ever and loved it. Real quick, and I'm going to let you get started. You remember we did videos, some video comments. So I did something about Pretty Deadly, and somebody commented, Pretty Deadly, more like Velvet Wedding. I don't know. Yeah. And then somebody said something about Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. They said, this is a booker for you right here. No surprise if CM Punk returns and wrestles Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania next year for a title. That's what's going to happen. I just thought I'd let you know in advance, Lance. And then on the Solo video, I talked about how I was really a big fan of Solo. Somebody said, Solo ain't nothing. That was their comment. And then somebody wrote, and I had to read this 3 or 4 times, somebody should find Triple H's sledgehammer and smash that spike, and we all will see how good he really is.
And they say kayfabe is dead.
There we go.
They say,
all right.
They say
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Kayfabe is not dead, apparently. So anyway, I just want to chime in. I thought your Star Wars story was really...
And happy May 4th. And happy May 4th day, by the way.
Whatever. Bidneth. No, I thought your story was cool. If you had gone on the first day.
You can't even say it now.
If you'd gone on the first day, that would have been cool. I do remember I saw it early on. I know I saw it, like you said, 77. It was 1977. So definitely, like, within the first...
It's 77. I knew it was the summertime, so I looked up the date, and I said, yeah. I
saw it, too.
So, yeah, it was probably Chicago probably had one of the first airings.
I wasn't there. I was in Hollywood, in Florida. I was in Florida when I was that age, so I was in...
probably school. That too. The bigger city, with us, I was at a little small theater, but it was probably in June.
I like the way you say that. It's theater. Yeah.
Go to the movies. We went to the movies.
I love that Mama hated it too.
To the theater.
It's such a legendary movie, and Mama hated it. So
she did.
So shout out to Mama.
Yeah, Mama hated it. She'll tell you today she hates that shit.
All right, let's get back to the list. We talked enough.
All right, let's go, brother.
It's not a movie podcast. So we got at number 5. We have Smut. It's Smut time. We only got one Smut story this month. It was a very kumbaya month. There wasn't a lot of battles on social media and wrestling this month. So we got Britt Baker and the Black Eye t-shirt. Sounds like another Harry Potter spinoff. So AEW releases a t-shirt with a close-up of Britt Baker's face with a black eye, stemming from that great angle they did on April 19th on Dynamite, where Paige, or Saraya, or whatever the hell her name is now, beats down Britt Baker with the kendo stick, and Jericho forces Adam Cole, he's handcuffed to the ropes, forces Adam Cole to watch his woman get beat with a kendo stick. So I thought it was a great angle. And then the Outcasts, the name of their clique, wore the shirt to play it up. So the shirt is $30. Fans start losing their minds right away because it glamorizes domestic violence. So Britt lashes out. Britt's making money off this shirt. So she lashes out, saying if it was a guy with a black eye, you wouldn't say anything. Saying that you've had, there's been other shirts with bloody scenery on the shirts. Does that glorify murder then? So Britt was pissed. Snowflake Nation, of course, is worried about what a non-fan will think when somebody sees somebody wearing that shirt. So the question is, will Tony Khan pull the shirt? So one guy by the name of John Lockman tweeted that he cannot believe that AEW is trying to make money on a shirt that, quote, supports domestic violence. I'm like, that's kind of a leap, don't you think? That a woman with a black eye on a shirt is supporting, they are Tony Khan is pro-domestic violence. What is wrong with you people? So anyway, that's our big story on Smut this month.
I don't know. I agree with what she said, that if it was a man, we wouldn't think anything. But because it's a woman, we do think something. And one of the fans put up a mock T-shirt or a correction. It said something like, "Don't worry, I did this in a wrestling ring," is what it said, or something like that. It had a slogan on it instead of just here's the funny thing. Now, and I'm a huge insider, so I found out this. The Outcasts got somebody to make those 3 shirts for them. Mm-hmm. And so if you go back to the video, it's not the actual shirt that's being sold. It's something that they made at home or ever who they got to make it. Mm-hmm. And they were trying to make fun of Britt Baker. So Britt Baker and them saw that shirt and said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you did that." Said, "Let's make a shirt." But I got to be, and I got to be on Britt's side on this one. I first saw it and thought, that's a bad taste. But then I started hearing what she had to say. If that would have been Chris Jericho with the black eye, like she said, we'd all said, "Hey, he's tough and he's badass." But if it's a woman, we just assume a man whipped her ass. Why do we assume a man beat her if she's got a black eye? It's just so weird. Society is so fucked up.
Wasn't one of their best-selling shirts was when she broke her nose and she had her face covered in blood. Yeah,
the blood.
She had her face covered in blood from the broken nose with, I think it was with Sheeta, was the match when she broke her nose when they were in the studio or whatever.
No. That was the match with Thunder Rosa. Okay. No, it was the head. It was Thunder Rosa.
So, but nobody ever said anything then about it being, quote, domestic violence related or anything like that. So it is a weird double standard. So very strange. So anyway, all right. At number 4, we have Eric Bischoff and the
And speaking of bleeding.
Yeah, there we go. Eric Bischoff and the Anal Bleeding. Sounds like a new Harry Potter spinoff. So Not So Easy E, as we're calling him now, recently...
Are you going to use that joke anymore? Are you going to use the joke anymore?
You've used 2 more to go.
So, used it 3 times. You used that joke 3 times.
It's a running bit. A running bit, just so you know. pulling behind the curtain again. So Not So Easy E, as we call him now, recently detailed on 83 Weeks. And my question is that show still on? Anyway, so he nearly died from when he added a laxative to his diet. So he says he started taking psyllium husks, which I think is what is the main ingredient in Metamucil. The instructions say you're supposed to take 1 to 3 tablespoons. So he takes on the wrestler's mindset and he goes with 4 to 5 tablespoons because, if it says 3 and you're a wrestler, you got to go 4 or 5. So the same day he takes a dump and passes what he calls buckets of blood, all in caps, buckets of blood. So later he takes a shower. Ugh. I thought, good idea. You took a shower, good idea. And then goes to the hospital. So he says the moral of the story is to read the fucking directions. So he's in the hospital, which was, as we like to call it, the local medical facility. He's in the hospital for days, still with the anal bleeding of buckets of blood. The hospital runs out of his blood. He goes through so much blood, they run out of his blood type. So they have to ship his ass to another hospital. Meanwhile, the doctors can't figure out what's wrong with him, what's the cause of this. So he took damn psyllium husks. It's those damn psyllium husks that did it to him. So he recovers, and then he appeared on Raw. Like, you wouldn't even know anything was wrong.
Son of bitches.
He appeared on the Raw Draft episode. So we just hope that he had Depends on. But our best wishes to Eric Bischoff for his anal bleeding of buckets of blood at number 4. Stupid psyllium husk.
Yeah, I mean, he was real good spirits about it. Talked about he almost died. He almost died twice. I love it when you don't listen to something you don't think it's popular. It's still like the third or second most popular wrestling podcast out there. Bishop is. Here's something. I've got a story about that. I used to take that supplement when I worked out on a regular basis and ate. I used to eat 1.5 times my weight. Protein per day. So I was weighing about 200. You do 1.5. You do the math. 300 grams of protein a day. And so you know what happens when you eat a lot of protein? You just don't go to the bathroom. So I was using that product, but guess what, Lance? I followed directions. It apparently ate away at his stomach lining. Because he took so much of it, and that's where all the blood was coming from. But they said they almost lost him twice. Now, that would have been a hell of a story. I still want to fall asleep. I still want to die by falling asleep because I don't want you to come on here and talk about my anal bleeding and I died, all right?
I'm still trying to figure out how you ate 1.5 times your weight. I'm struggling with the math on that one. 1.5. Let's say you weigh 200 pounds.
I weigh 200. No, you weigh...
1.5.
I ate 300 grams. No, I ate 300 grams of protein, right. Not 300 pounds of protein.
What I'm saying. You said 1.5 times your weight. I'm trying to figure the math in my head here. So, all right, let's move on to number 3 before I get a headache from the math. All right, and at number 3, we have Duke the Dumpster and his prosthetic leg. So, sounds like a new Harry Potter spinoff. On the April 25th edition of MLW on Reels, moment of silence for MLW on Reels, because I think we're pretty much done there. They aired their Battle Riot show, which is, of course, their version of the Royal Rumble, but, they can't call it that. More blood and more brutality, that's the biggest difference, and in a smaller, more dingy arena, of course. But anyway, there's all kinds of surprise entrants. They include Duke the Dumpster Drosy from back in the day. Little side note, little backstory here. Duke's drug use had led to an infection that unfortunately required his leg to be amputated. Had totally forgotten about that story. So he wears pants to the ring. He ambles to the ring, wears pants, so you kind of don't know that he's got a fake leg. Comes out for the Battle Riot. He's one of the surprise entrants for the Battle Riot. He has a garbage can, of course. Doesn't look like anything like I remember the guy, but he has a garbage can. Gets a few shots in on one guy before Alex Kane takes him down, pulls off the prosthesis, which is hard to say, prosthesis, and Alex Kane gets Duke to tap. Alex Kane, in fact, goes on to win the match entirely. So it reminded me of obviously there's not too many times this has happened, but the Kevin Nash incident where he pulled off Maurice Vachon's prosthetic leg in your house in 1996. So whole thing just so weird. and honestly, just kind of gross. Like, I know the guy obviously wanted to do it and got paid to do it, but just weird and gross. And Duke the Dumpster and his prosthetic leg at number 3.
All right. Yeah, a fake leg. I don't know if you know this, Lance, but he's done this gimmick before. I actually talked to Duke one time on Facebook, trying to book him for a local show. Super nice guy, just a super, super nice guy. And I was like you. I only found out about his leg or was reminded of it by seeing him on Facebook, and he was working out. I had quit working out, and I started looking at him working out, and I was like, get your fat ass back in the gym, because the guy's got one leg and he's working out. But yeah, he's done this before, but I loved it because it got so much press this time.
Yeah. So Duke the I can't even say it. Duke the Dumpster at number 3. So all right, moving on to number 2, we got Vicky Guerrero's Family Feud. So we got Sherilyn Amber Guerrero, daughter of Vicky and Eddie Guerrero. She posts a TikTok claiming that she was sexually assaulted by her stepfather, Chris Benson, on the Jericho cruise in 2020. Of course, not making light of sexual assault or accused sexual assault, just the bizarreness of the fact that it happened on this Jericho cruise. So Shaw Guerrero, one of their other daughters, verifies the story, but says it wasn't rape, but something did happen. So, and then she tries to wash her hands of this whole damn story too. So Vicky denies it, denies Benson did anything. Sharon then became estranged from their family afterwards. Shaw didn't want to be in the middle of it all. Then Vicky goes on a ridiculous rant saying her daughter is hostile. She's a nut job. She's a drunk. That they bought her cars, etc., and that they'll see her in court for this mudslinging that she's doing. So just the whole story, just a sad, ugly situation, really leaves everybody in this picture looking awful. So just a horrible, gross story. Whatever elements of truth there are to it, it hasn't gone to court yet. So Vicky Guerrero's Family Feud at number 2. Excuse me!
It's typical with stories like this, and I know it's part of the wrestling and the reason a lot of stuff, and it was brought to our attention, but a lot of stories that involve the stepfather or whatever, you have 2 or 3 ways of doing this. Either the stepchild is trying to get more attention. I know it sounds like I'm victim blaming, but that's how it happens. Or it's the opposite. It's Vicky Guerrero is trying to protect because she doesn't believe her daughter, but believes the actual husband over the daughter. It's just a mess. I really wish they would have not said one thing, and that's the bad thing about social media. And we're even covering it, but it was one of the top stories for the. I hope what problems they're having, they get all that fixed and see somebody for help for that, because that's a mess for that family.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sad story, and just the weird part to me is the Shaw Guerrero comment, like that it's true, but it's all true, like, and then just wanting to wash her hands of the whole damn thing. So just really weird, and like you said, sad, like slimy story. Whatever elements of it are true. Hopefully, they all get the help they need. So, all right, at number 1, our top story of the month, WTF. So it is one of the ridiculous lawsuits. Sounds like a new Harry Potter spinoff. So in another continuing story that you'll only hear in the WTF news desk, because we've been covering this one for years too, and it resurfaced again in April. So Rocket Khan, Tranisha Biggers, I believe is her real name, her shoot name, as you like to say, Brian. So Rocket Khan has filed a lawsuit against dozens of people claiming that they, quote, conspired to kidnap her and her children, and she is suing for $3 billion, billion with a B. So
that's right.
She was a walk down memory lane here. She was listed in 2019 as El Paso's most wanted for failing to pay her child support and for interference of child custody. So this is where the story all began with her. So we've been covering her story for 4 years now. So these are among the names that she is suing. So this is a priceless list. This is who she is suing. And a lawyer took this case, which is bizarre. So these are the names that she's suing. The state of Texas, the FBI, the NYPD, Omega Psi-Phi Fraternity. I think she thought it was Kenny Omega or something.
I think she did. Yeah.
She thought she was suing Kenny Omega on that one. So Suffolk County, New York, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, is in this lawsuit. The Miz and Maurice are being sued. Heath Slater, Nikki Bella, apparently Brie Bella is off the hook here, but Nikki Bella is being sued. Chris Benoit, who has been dead since 2007. Chris Benoit is named in this lawsuit. Home Depot. How is Home fucking Depot being sued by Tranisha Biggers? The NWA, Steve Kern, Billy Corgan, Bank of America, quote, several universities. I don't know if she just couldn't name any, but she just says several universities. Michael Jordan, for fuck's sake. I don't know why he's in there. Jim Cornette, Mick Foley, Con Edison. I believe she means Commonwealth Edison. That's our power company here in Chicago. But Con Edison, I'm not sure that's an indie wrestler. And, quote, countless others. So as far as I'm aware, countless others could include us. So I'm going to lawyer up because I'm afraid that she's liable to be suing us.
Allegedly. Allegedly. I want to tell her right now she's listening. I want to tell you right now while listening, Lance, when we first covered the story, he really believed you shouldn't have been Texas Most Wanted for just child support. He was on your side, and I was against you. I just want to know right up front, I was against you because of the child support thing. Also mentioned was Mick Foley. Did you mention Mick Foley? Jim Cornette, Michael Jordan. Just freaking. Can we say I believe there might be a screw loose here? This is some crazy stuff. And what
Chris
would
Benoit.
all this?
Chris Benoit is dead.
Is he?
Home Depot. Well,
I know.
Home Depot. What the hell did they do?
Everybody knows Home Depot needs to be sued. So there you go. They don't wait on me quick enough.
Top story.
That was an awesome story.
And the ridiculous lawsuits.
Yeah, go ahead and look that up if you want to see the whole lawsuit. Really fun. Guys, we're going to go to honorable mentions, and we'll also have honorable as part of the Meltzer typos. It's always fun. You got to subscribe, and it's $5. If you're watching a video live stream of this here tonight, we had some technical problems and had to cut our faces out. And I know everybody loves looking at Lance's face, so I know y'all are going to be upset because the last part of this did not have his head in it. So just remember that if you're watching the video, but we're still here. And Patreon, we got a couple of honorable mentions, and then we're talking about the Meltzer typos. So same bad time, same bad channel on the best little wrestling podcast in the business. Be there, and as everyone knows, I love my mama.
I love Star Wars. I hate to say that, Mama, but I love Star Wars, and I have fun everywhere I go. I may be going to Guardians of the Galaxy tomorrow. You probably hated that.